Hey there, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to look at the following WWE news and rumors. Bray Wyatt's friend says the Fiend character is dead. Keith Lee's whereabouts. WWE Backstage protesting for Vince McMahon to re-sign Aleister Black, and more. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for daily wrestling content. Keith Lee was a prominent player in NXT, and his arrival at Raw signaled that he'd be a major star on the Red brand too. He even scored a victory against Randy Orton at Payback to let the world know that he had indeed arrived. He soon entered the WWE Championship picture and scored a massive win for Team Raw at Survivor Series 2020. He later entered the WWE United States Championship picture, but an injury right before the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view derailed his momentum. We haven't seen Keith Lee since. While there was criticism leveled at WWE for sending Lee to the Performance Center along with a whole bunch of other big men, it was clear that the company had major plans for him. With Braun Strowman missing in action, there's a top spot waiting to be filled. When is Keith Lee returning to action? Regarding Keith Lee's situation right now, Dave Meltzer said the following in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The basic gist is that Lee is not medically cleared, and he's made the decision to keep that private at this point. Lee has also been constantly addressing fans on his own social media account. In fact, Lee even went as far as to assure us that he would let us know why he is away. When a fan asked Keith Lee what was next for him, he replied that only time would tell. Lee's partner Mia Yim, also known as Reckoning during her stint with Retribution, has been vocal on social media, letting people know that Lee's condition is nobody's business. WWE Summerslam is growing closer and, according to a recent report, WWE has big plans for the annual pay-per-view. There has already been talk of musical superstar Cardi B potentially hosting the event. Her hit single Up is already being used as the theme of the show, according to a new tweet from WrestleVotes. WWE has plans to make SummerSlam 2021 the biggest event of the year, perhaps even more spectacular than WrestleMania. The report also states that WWE wants to book John Cena vs. Roman Reigns for the main event of the pay-per-view. After speaking to a few sources on the topic, I've learned that WWE is 100% attempting to make SummerSlam this year's WrestleMania, wrote WrestleVotes. All resources will be tapped into as how it was explained to me. I do believe they want Reigns vs. Cena to headline, not sure if they've decided. WrestleMania 37 was the first WWE event in over a year with live fans present. The usual biggest event in the WWE calendar took place at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, and, like WrestleMania 36, was a two-night affair. WrestleMania 37 was also headlined by Roman Reigns, who closed Night 2 with Edge and Daniel Bryan. On the first night of the event, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair made history in the main event. At this point, it's unclear how WWE will try to present a show that rivals the spectacle of WrestleMania, but a match between Reigns and Cena could add a lot of buzz to the biggest party of the summer. In a recent announcement, WWE announced the date and location for this year's SummerSlam. WWE confirmed that SummerSlam will be located at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Unlike most WWE pay-per-views, this event will be taking place on a Saturday, August 21st. It will also have a crowd present in the stadium, following the return of live fans next month. Even though The Fiend took the WWE Universe by storm when Bray Wyatt first transformed into this evil character, over time, the gimmick has gotten diluted, so much so that even former Wyatt family member Eric Rowan, who now goes by the name Eric Redbeard, believes the gimmick has run its course. Eric Redbeard was a special guest on Unscripted with Chris Featherstone on Sportskeeda Wrestling's YouTube channel, where he was asked about The Fiend's persona. When asked what he thought about The Fiend, Eric Redbeard had this to say: "Run its course." In fact, Redbeard even took a cheeky shot at The Fiend, considering that he has been away for so long, or should I say Alexa Bliss' new character. When Dr. Featherstone asked Redbeard why The Fiend has been away for so long, he said the following: "I don't know what's going on." Even though The Fiend was in a featured match at WrestleMania against Randy Orton, the former lost in surprising fashion when Alexa Bliss turned on him. Bliss has since then donned the supernatural persona, while The Fiend has been nowhere to be seen. Do you think Eric Redbeard's criticism of The Fiend is justified, and does Bray Wyatt need a reboot at this stage? Or does The Fiend have some steam left in him yet? Please let us know in the comments below. On June 2, 2021, WWE announced the release of a number of wrestlers including Aleister Black, who has since gone on to publicly address the release. He has expressed his gratitude towards the company, and has been thankful for his time in WWE. Based on recent developments, there seems to be a push of sorts backstage to bring Aleister Black back to WWE. Many were shocked to learn of his release, including personnel close to Vince McMahon. Black himself was taken aback and took to Twitter to express his reaction to his release. Recent reports have disclosed that people backstage in WWE have been active about Black's release. It was reported by Mike Johnston of PW Insider that there have been discussions backstage regarding Black's untimely release from WWE, and it has led to a demand to bring Aleister Black back to WWE. Moreover, according to the same report, backstage personnel believe that of all of the recent releases, Black came as the biggest shock to them. Aleister Black had just recently returned to TV after a 7-month-long hiatus from wrestling. There was no particular reason for him not being on TV apart from the fact that creative did not have anything for him. On April 23, 2021, Aleister Black appeared for the first time in over half a year in the form of a pre-taped vignette. This led to a chain of vignettes that featured Aleister Black talking about the new character the Dark Father. After a month of Black speaking to the audience through these vignettes, Black finally made an appearance in the flesh on an episode of WWE SmackDown and cost Big E the Intercontinental Championship. Unfortunately, Black was released from WWE shortly thereafter. Black has now reverted to his old moniker, Tommy End, which he used primarily on the independent wrestling circuit before signing with WWE. There are currently a number of options available for Tommy End, including AEW. Tommy End has recently named several wrestlers he would want to face, and a number of them are currently signed to AEW. Another exciting option present for Tommy End is New Japan Pro Wrestling, which could lead to some fascinating fixtures. What do you think is next for Tommy End after his release from WWE? Sound off in the comments section below. According to Aleister Black, Vince McMahon apologized to him for some of the storylines that the former NXT champion was involved in on the main roster. The WWE Chairman, in a meeting with the now-released star, stated that some of the ideas he had for Black didn't go as planned. While speaking to Renee Paquette on the Oral Sessions podcast, Aleister Black opened up about a meeting he had with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. Black engaged in an honest discussion with the WWE Chairman as he was frustrated with his run on the main roster. "I had a conversation with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon that lasted about 30 to 45 minutes, said Aleister Black. "It was a long talk, but it was a good talk, again, full of praise, complimenting my ability to be honest with them whilst being respectful and just saying how much he respected my creative thought process. And he also understood that there were things during my time in the main roster that did not go the way he wanted it to go, and he said, 'I'm sorry for that, I apologize. Let's do it this way. I'm going to send you home for a bit, we're going to get some separation between you and Kevin Owens, and when you come back, we're off to the races.'" Aleister Black also revealed that he was supposed to come back during or at the Royal Rumble, but those plans did not come to fruition. He was kept off television for 6 months before returning last month. On the same podcast episode, Black revealed that Vince McMahon had asked Triple H about bringing the former NXT champion to the main roster on a few occasions, but Triple H initially rejected those plans, as he wanted Black to end his feud with Johnny Gargano in NXT. Vince McMahon praised Black for his creativity in their meetings and even had plans to make him the United States champion. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, those plans got derailed.